This is Terry Kurtz online reporting on Victor Valley, High Desert, and Mojave River Valley events, activities, entertainment, sports, and history.
The Our Children Project responds to the needs of sexually abused children, providing counseling to the children and their families.
Well, this is our second annual fundraising luncheon for Our Children Project, which is a program for children and families where they're healing from sexual abuse.
I encourage people to talk about abuse. I think we still live in a society where, to some degree, it's swept under the carpet. And like most problems in life, sweeping things under the carpet doesn't do a whole lot of good. And there's an awful lot of help that I think would make a big difference if we actually address the issue.
The Our Children Project has been kind of an outreach ministry of ours for a number of years. We have been connected with them for probably around 10 years now. This is the only program in the high desert like this that helps the children who are victims of such abuse. It is the best known secret of the high desert. Nobody knows about this project, but that's all changing. We're getting the Our Children Project out there in the community, so people learn about this, and so other children know that there is a safe place if they've been a victim, that there's a safe place that they can come to get the healing that not only the children need, but also their families, their parents, and their siblings too.
And for the children, we often do hear that I thought I was the only one.
It gives them an opportunity to, number one, find out that they're not alone.
Like keynote speaker Mike Renshaw, Ascension Lutheran pastor James Harris speaks from the experience of being a victim as a child.
For healing, and that there are others like them that they can build relationships with and can grow together and heal together.
Powerful presentations by mothers of adopted children who had been abused, and how Our Children has made all the difference in the world in the healing process.
I'm a parent of two graduates of the program, and my kids have gone through and actually graduated both at 18 years old. So I'm giving a talk about our family's experience in the program.
That my children having the opportunity to come and receive support from their peers and from counselors who had similar backgrounds or who had an understanding of their background was the key to my adopted family bonding. Without this opportunity to become healthy and become well, and to lose their automatic response to what they had experienced as children and learn how to respond differently, our family would not have survived as a whole, I believe.
Well, I was asked to come and speak, Terry, for the Our Children Project, and it's something I believe in strongly because I was abused, and I don't think that we have enough people speaking about abuse, shining a light on abuse, and also generating hope, because there is a life after abuse, and I think people need to hear that. The main message is that I'm a slow learner, and it took me 54 years to figure out some things that I want to transfer and talk about so that the people here can help other people who are abused not take 54 years to learn what I learned, so they can heal faster and not have all that long time where they're living with gremlins and pain and doubts, and they can have a life of hope, a life where their dreams are not limited by what happened to them.
Many of us were introduced to slam poetry at this, the third annual fundraising luncheon for Our Children Foundation. Slam poetry is described as poetry expressing an intensely emotional personal story or struggle, very powerful and moving. The poetry is generally used in a competition known as a poetry slam. Often, as with hip-hop music, the subject matter concerns urban life, crime, drugs, or other inner-city-related subjects. Project Administrator Carol Voll tells about slam poet Andre Jackson.
Well, Andre has visited our program a few times for the children and the youth who have had hardships in their lives and abuse. So he's shown us in real life how he can use poetry, slam poetry, that he does the most, and helps them to express themselves and get some things out that they need to get out about their own personal lives. And he's just very, very entertaining in how he does those kind of things, even in his therapy.
One, it surprised me. I've never seen anything like it. Two, the ability to bring parents together as well as the children, and just see how some of the problems or some of the needs can be addressed. I think the program does with some of the kids in the program, and it's a special program. What makes it special is its ability to change children's lives.
We have nothing to do with success. We have everything to do with survival. We have nothing to do with success. Climb the castle walls, always realizing that most of the parents that we call monsters just never really took a chance letting down the drawbridge of their own castles. So how dare we call anyone monster? Thank you for your time.
If we can all, as human beings at times, throttle back, take one step back, and think before we move, I think that we can make a lot of change.
Regina Witherspoon Bell, representing County Supervisor Robert Lovingood, recognizes Project Warriors Marta Woodfield, Ann Klein, and Margaret Goldman. They were not the only ones recognized by the County Supervisor.
Whereas the month of April is designated as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and whereas our Children Project is a unique therapy program that has helped thousands of children and families in the high desert heal from the trauma of sexual abuse. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the 1st District San Bernardino County Supervisor, Robert A. Lovingood, does hereby recognize our Children Project as an official therapy program for helping children and families in the high desert community.
The Our Children Project has been kind of an outreach ministry of ours for a number of years. This is the only program in the high desert that helps the children who are victims of such abuse.
We work with victims of sexual abuse, and we work with youth offenders as well, and parents, and it can be a biological parent, it can be a guardian, a foster parent. So we work with both aspects so that we can have one group to address the victim and then one group for the parent support. And then we all come together and help them with whatever they need to.
And for the children, we often do hear that I thought I was the only one.
It gives them an opportunity to, number one, find out that they're not alone.
Sometimes younger kids come in and it's very difficult for them. So it's really getting them to know, I'm here to help you, and this is going to be where we work together.
There is an opportunity for healing that they can build relationships with and can grow together and heal together.
LSS have saved not only me, but saved my family.
This is the story of Joseph, who came from Guinea, West Africa, and became a highly successful businessman before the 2006 housing market crash rendered him homeless.
What happened is, so everything was great when I moved here. I mean, the American dream, literally. I lived the American dream until 2000, technically until 2006. When the housing bubble hit, what happened is I lost everything. From that point, I had to, foreclose my house in Huntington Beach, and I hit the street. I was in Santa Ana. And no one knows to today's date that I became homeless from 2010 to 2018 when LSS helped me. And in the street, what people don't realize, you get approached, you get close to the devil on the street. I got close to the devil, literally. I'm actually face to face to the devil. The options are there. You can become a gang member, you can become a murderer, you can become a prostitute. You can, all the bad stuff just to buy one day in a real house. Those are the things that people don't get for homeless people. If it wasn't LSS, because my goal was to go meet Tom by Skid Road after sleeping over here. So probably I could have been selling drugs now, cocaine, okay, or heroin, and marijuana with this guy. And he had and probably go to jail or sell more. Or be rich, I don't know, but that's what I was going to be doing. LSS, I can't even, I call the people, just two people there that I call my guardian angels. So LSS have saved not only me, but saved my family, they saved my kids. It was my guardian angels, Wendy Rubio and Evelyn Rubio, that made it happen. From the housing, I had no papers, nothing. I lost everything, my green card, everything was gone years ago. They replaced everything. I have all my stuff now. I have my green card, I have my social security card, I have my house, I have the key. The real savior was LSS. God bless you, God bless LSS.
Human trafficking is the fastest growing crime in America. California is the #1 state. We have twice as many cases as any other state.
The pandemic of child sexploitation and human trafficking has long since spread into the high desert as Amber Alerts and missing child alerts pervade on an increasingly regular basis. Apple Valley's Our Children Project is stepping up its efforts to inform and alert high desert residents of the sickening, sobering, and shocking realities of the minute. At this year's annual fundraising luncheon, the County of San Bernardino acknowledges Our Children Project Director Carol Vall for 25 years' service as the high desert's only organization providing counseling for children dealing with sexual abuse and their families. This message from child sexploitation expert Opal Singleton, increasingly timely.
Human trafficking is the fastest growing crime in America. California is the #1 state. We have twice as many cases as any other state. It has to do with gangs and it has to do with social media. The message today mainly is for parents and grandparents and teachers and public leaders and like that to understand what is happening in child pornography, child sex trafficking, social media exploitation. This is the first generation in all of history that'll be able to reach the entire world, and the entire world can reach them. And on top of it, we have technologies that make it very difficult for parents, school officials, and law enforcement, like encrypted messaging, disappearing video. We have cryptocurrency. All of these things make it hard for law enforcement to get a search warrant and for a parent to understand what's happening. So for this organization, it's very important that we work with the children to make them the first generation that's self-responsible on technology and is all-powerful. We really are reaching a point where we can't protect them and law enforcement can't protect them.
The urgency of Opal Singleton's message prioritizes Lutheran social services, moving the Our Children Project toward the top of their list of projects they support.
When we were looking at things that were critically important that we needed to fundraise for, in particular, the Our Children's Project came up, in my mind, for almost first on the list. The need is beyond the capacity that we can handle our programs, but one of the three that we highlight is Our Children's Program, mainly because of the need that is so apparent and the lack of funding to support it. You know, the dichotomy is very difficult to understand, but we're working on that part too.
The Our Children Project remains the High Desert's only organization providing counseling for children dealing with sexual abuse and for the children's families. When does post-trauma end for a survivor of sexual abuse? Never. The message sounded loud and clear by Inger Robertson, keynote speaker at the annual Our Children Project fundraising luncheon. Inger Robertson dispels many myths and misconceptions about victims of sexual abuse. Today's director of A Better Way, the domestic violence shelter in Victorville, is a survivor who first experienced abuse at age 5.
There was this perfect storm that happened. Explaining that if we don't do intervention early, just what kind of things can transpire and what a difference early intervention can make in this topic, because for a long time people just said, oh, kids will get over this, and not deal with it right away.
Do not tell me I can't be angry. I am not going to allow anybody to tell me that again. And you go right back in that house. And he says, I would. But there is no denying that my life changed after that. People have things still locked up inside of them. And it makes all the difference when you acknowledge it and get through it in a healthier way. At the same time, it is the reality. And all of these things, I was told I couldn't be angry about what happened to me. And I've worked with other women that they were told they couldn't cry. And what's been interesting is whatever the thing is that you were told you couldn't do is the very thing that you probably needed to do. And when some of the women who were told, you can't cry about this, once they started, they looked and they're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to stop. It's like, just go, just do it. And for me, say hello to my friend. There had been so much rage bottled up inside of me.
The Our Children Foundation is something that I've heard about because I'm a domestic violence executive director with A Better Way. It is one of the partnerships, but it's also very much linked. A lot of times in my 30 years of walking beside people that have been through abuse, whether in childhood or not, I would say there's only been about 5 that couldn't say that they had anything of childhood sexual abuse in their background.
And you were such a victim?
Correct.
How difficult was it originally to address it, to come out and talk about it?
It was pretty much told I had to suppress it, and a lot of that had a lot of ramifications, which I'll be talking about today, and the difference that just being in a room knowing you're not the only person can make for such little ones.
When you are, or a lot of children that are in the single-digit ages, if they're singled out, we always hear about fight and flight. But there's 3 F's to the responses that people can have, and the third one is freeze. And when you're a child, and you're very, very aware that your entire existence is about all these adults around you, all these perceived adults, even if they're teenagers, you freeze. It's not like you're a teenager who has friends and you can run away and all this other stuff. You just freeze. Well, some of these things will follow someone into their adulthood. So as I became an adult, if someone was confrontational and other stuff, I learned to freeze. That was my first experience. So these are strategies that I took on that followed me into adulthood because I didn't have support or help or ways of coping with it in the early days. I am so glad we are past that time period where we don't talk about it. I am so glad we now understand that myth about, oh, they're so young, they'll never even remember. Because now we know trauma burns itself in your brain. This particular organization holds a deep part in my heart because of my own story. That's why I'm here. Art has also been very therapeutic for me through the years. But this right here is a piece that speaks to what happens when a child is left alone to try to figure out how to place all these pieces together when you have been sexually molested. But the program that we're here to talk and celebrate and support today, parents are involved, the children are involved, and so is the offender. And I always wonder if someone had just taken time to take this teenager by the ear and sit him down and go, curiosity's okay. This is not. and then spend some time, would it have made a difference? And we have something in our own community that deals with all sides of this from the very beginning. So they don't have to go through all of this journey. As with anything, if you're a believer, it can be redeemed. I'm reintegrated. The little girl in me did grow up. I now have boundaries, and I know what they are. And the scars are golden, because you can share them and let people know that they can be different. But if we can get that sooner for these kids, that's everything. Thank you for your time.
The Our Children Project responds to the needs of sexually abused children, providing counseling to the children and their families.
It is the only program of its kind in the high desert.
The mural is of a tree with hands all over it, and these are the kids' hands and the adult hands who put this all together.
The unveiling of indoor murals at Ascension Lutheran Church in Apple Valley's Our Children Project. 2 murals, the project, the result of Eagle Scout Toby Brown.
So basically, we painted all the walls. So we painted all of the walls around white, and then we put up 2 murals. We put up the their logo, so it's a tree with handprints. So we used a wall projector to project it onto the wall, and then we Sharpied it on and then painted over it. And then the handprints are actually all of anybody that helps with the program, and I believe the kids are also going to be putting up handprints.
Toby Brown, an Eagle Scout, decided he wanted to do a project for our children project, and this is what came of it. The mural is of a tree with hands all over it, and these are the kids' hands and the adult hands who put this all together, and it's a symbol and logo for our program that helps children who have been sexually abused and their families.
There are 2 murals. You've described one. Describe the other, Toby.
So it's a valiant warrior lady on a horse, and she's kind of up with her sword in hand, and there's a Bible verse next to it. And that was painted mainly by my girlfriend and then my dad, as well as a couple of other particularly artistic scouts. So they were really working hard on that one, and that's probably what took the most time from the project, is like the painting of the walls, but also that mural was really big because we had to put in the clouds, and the walls were all blue instead of the white, and so it's like a whole blue wall.
Toby Brown, within days of him deciding what the project was going to be, along with the church people, had donations of over $2,000.
Who are some of the sponsors that contributed to make this all possible?
Well, Gold West, Mobile Home Park, Sherwin-Williams, and Midway Appliance. It's been very, very good and very emotional to watch what's happening here today with the kids putting their handprints on there, and the adults as well.
God is good. Every day. All the time, God is good. What a great opportunity for us to be here together and to be able to celebrate this groundbreaking.
This is ground zero for homeless in San Bernardino City. It's a tough area, but we are here. We are committed. We're doubling down on this particular location and building a new shelter, and we will be here for many, many years to come.
It's because of their generosity, not only to Central City Lutheran Mission and the New Men's Shelter, but Matthew 25 Fund, and years of work dealing with homeless and other issues that we deal with as a church to answer Christ's call to serve. And it is for that reason that we decided to name this new shelter after them, and we are calling it the Linda and Jerry Engelhardt Renewal Center. And we have this plaque honoring this groundbreaking day for you to hang in your home and be a witness to others about great generosity and what it means to you. Thank you, Jerry.
When Ron and Greg invited us out here to see the work of what's going on, they gave a thumbnail sketch of much of what's been said so far about all the people that are involved in making this thing happen, from Pastor Dave and the pastors, the Lutheran Social Services, the contractors. One of the things that, as we look at where we want to, share and be good stewards, is a matter if a project has real sustainability, if it has a real mission, and if it's well run. And this met all of those criteria. As you've heard in the past 20 minutes or half hour about all the people that are involved, and all of you, not only just the contractors, the suppliers, the local staff. The place is working, and it's going to get even better.
What we were here to do is to provide hope, healing, and empowerment to the people in the heart of this city. And through this new journey we're on as LSS, we have been able to take that hope to reach out to people and actually embrace people as they come through this door. We are able to take that healing and use it for equipping them through case management, knowledge, skills, and positive reassurance that they can make new growth in their own life. And through today's groundbreaking, here today, by being here, we're not only proving that empowerment can happen, but we are showing that empowerment can happen through steps, through collaboration, through help, through support. And to be able to show and grow as a mission from CCLM to now the CCLM side of LSS.
Oh, we're excited. I mean, it's great to see a plan come into fruition. And we've been talking about this for a long time and realize how many different groups have come together to really put together a dream and make it happen.
What makes us unique is our connection with the Lutheran Church. You guys stepped up. When you heard LSS was going to be part of, or the proud owner of, or take over, or whatever the messaging was at the time, hopefully, and as Terry said, we built that trust, and you believe that our interest and your interests are like this.
When we began the fundraising for this wonderful new shelter, it's always important when you're having a fundraiser to have someone to step up and make an initial gift that is significant and inspires others to give. And so I want to introduce to you a couple, although only the husband is here today, and that's Ron and Marcia Biang, and they are from St. John's Lutheran Church in Orange. And they gave us a gift that went towards 1/5 of our goal. Jerry Engelhardt shared with me that, he's heard people say you ought to give until it hurts. He says, I really don't believe in that. I believe that you ought to give until it feels good. And he says, 100,000, that's okay, but we'd like to do more. And they gave more than half of our goal to complete this project.
May God bless this place, hallowed ground, sacred ground. May God bless all the people who will come here and work here and develop new paths for their lives here. May God help us not to ever get adjusted to poverty and injustice, but instead to be creatively maladjusted and to work for a better earth. We ask all these things in the name of the one who calls us and names us and loves us. Amen.
Amen.
Victor Valley TV presents this information in the public interest, a News You Can Use feature of Victor Valley TV. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of Victor Valley TV, nor its management nor staff.
That's a wrap on this edition of Terry Kurtz Online. On behalf of Victor Valley Television Productions, thank you for watching. We hope to see you again next time around.